this video, we'll start the module 5 of Transportation Engineering 2, which is the Tunnel Engineering. This is just an introduction video to understand what tunnel is, what are the advantages of tunneling, what are the factors on which tunneling depends upon, and also the selection of route of tunnel, how it is done. Coming to the introduction, tunnels are underground passages which are mainly used for the transportation. They can be used for carrying freights as well as passengers. They can be also used for carrying water, sewage, etc. Now the methods involved are the underground operations, which is known as tunnel driving, and here the surface is not disturbed. It is understood that the first tunnel was constructed by Egyptians and Babylonians about 4000 years ago, and it was built for connecting two buildings in Babylon. So that is the history by which tunnel came into being. Now coming to the advantages of tunneling. Tunnels are more economical than open cuts beyond certain depth. That means when cutting the rock or cutting becomes very difficult and it is beyond a certain depth, then this tunnel operations or tunneling can be more economical. Tunnels avoid disturbing or interfering with surface life and traffic during construction. Tunnels prove to be cheaper than bridges or open cuts to carry public utility services like water, sewer and gas. If tunnels are provided with easy gradients, that slope what we are providing, the cost of hauling is decreased. That means if you are providing the tunnels in a particular slope and that is better or easier, then the cost of hauling means what? It is pulling or dragging with some force. That effort or the cost required for that can be decreased. And in case of aerial warfare and the bombing of cities, mainly like military purposes, the tunnels would grant better protection as compared to the bridges. Now coming to the factors on which tunneling methods depend upon, they are ground conditions, groundwater conditions, the length and diameter of the tunnel drive, the depth of the tunnel, the logistics of supporting the tunnel excavation, the final use and shape of the tunnel and appropriate risk. So these are some factors on which the tunneling methods depend upon. If you are constructing a tunnel near waterlogged areas or if the water table is little above, then it will be difficult for the construction. So all these factors are to be thought before itself, and how much is the length, how much is the diameter to be built, then what is the economy related to that, is it economical or which method is to be adopted, so like that, and which shape will be better, what is the appropriate risk if you are adopting a particular shape. So all these things are the factors on which the tunneling methods depend upon. Now the selection of route of tunnel, first one is alignment constraint or restraint, and the second one is environmental consideration. The alignment restraint, it is the underground space. We know that actually this tunnel construction, it is an underground, you are going to build an underground passage. So underground space is a heterogeneous mass, and in addition problems like water table, position of fractured rocks etc. are to be tackled. A thorough, detailed inspection and evaluation of the existing alignment restraint of underground space should therefore be made and correlated with the tunnel technology to be adopted for the project. So actually when you are going for a tunneling method, we should understand what are the, in a place where you are going to do the tunneling, what are the restraints. Restraints means what are the limitations, because there can be problems like water table, fractured rocks can be there. So while constructing it can fall on us or the workers. So many criteria or many problems are to be dealt with. So a thorough inspection and evaluation is to be done, and depending upon that what technology has to be used is to be taken care of. Coming to the environmental consideration, the site of tunnel should be selected in such a way that the least difficulty is experienced for various environmental factors like disposal of exhaust gas, groundwater, muck, etc. So when you are going for the environmental considerations, it means that sometimes you may be required to cut the tunnel. While cutting, you will be having lot of amount of soil, or that rock portion will be there. So cutting and filling has to be done. So you have to consider the geological formation. Now while selecting the site for doing the tunneling purpose, the difficulty which will be experienced during this process has to be minimum. So a thorough investigation has to be done. The underground space has to be understood clearly. What all restraints will be there, that has to be understood. And you know that when you are cutting the soil or going through the rock, then many difficulties will be there. So if you are cutting the soil, then suitable region should be there where you can fill the soil. So if it is a region where, if you can find out a region where you can go and fill it, then it will be more helpful. So all these things has to be identified properly when you are going for the routing of a tunnel. So in this video, we'll go through only this much. So this is just an introduction video. We'll go through the tunnel engineering in detail in the next videos.